we forget that we are not just coaching them in the game of soccer, we're coaching them in the game of life. And we're teaching young boys, young girls to be respectful individuals in this community. I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for soccer in this great community in Ventura County. Yeah.
All right, we're good.
Let's do this.
Welcome, Gilbert Lozano, to The Young Athletic. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Patrick. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm really excited. You are a man of many talents. You referee for Cal South for high school. You coach club soccer, AYSO United, and you've got a large family of 4.
Yes,
So
yes, I do it all.
Man.
I'm surprised I had time to get here today.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming.
No, thank you.
I wanted to start with the referee perspective. I refereed in college for like a couple of intramural games, and I vowed never to do it again. You just get attacked from both sides. But I just want to hear your experience, how you got into it, what you enjoy about it, what it's like, what it's been like for you.
Yeah, so actually the funny thing is I first started refereeing at the age of like 14, 15 for AYSO. Mm-hmm. Moore Park High School requires 40 hours of community service. So I knew the game and I did smaller level kid games and I went from there. When I really started reffing was probably when my son was born, about 13, 14 years ago. It helps to bring in a little extra money. You know, everything else is, everything out there is expensive. And so I was actually approached by a gentleman who had an independent adult league. And he's like, have you ever done it? I said, yes. And so he's like, come out. Little did I know he threw me out there to the wolves, man. Solo, one match, and I hadn't done it for years. But I caught on, and through there, the great thing about Ventura County, as you know, you get to network, you meet people. So I met more people that were doing the ref, and they're like, hey, you know this, but you got to take a class. And from there, I took the Cal South course with USSF, got certified, met a gentleman, I can't remember his name, who lived in the Moore Park community. He's like, hey, man, like, we're looking for referees for high school. Come on board. And I'm like, oh, man, I don't know. It's like, it's real simple. You just got to take a test, know the rules, and go from there. So I've been doing it. And it's funny, growing up playing the game, I said I would never do it. I would never join the dark side. But to be honest with you, it's changed my perspective on the game. And it's actually allowed me to have a huge amount of respect for people who go out there and referee the game. So I enjoy it. I learn. I'm still learning. I've been doing high school for about 8-9 years. I've been doing club for around the same time, and I've been doing adult leagues for about 12 to 13 years. So, yeah.
You know what? Just occurred to me, the high school strike last year or 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
The ref. Were you were reffing at that time?
You're gonna put me in a really hard spot.
We don't have to talk about it.
No, I'd be more than happy to. I'd be more than happy to talk about it. So as I mentioned earlier, when we were having everything set up, my daughter attends Moore Park High School, and I have Moore Park is a very small community, about 36,000 people. And we have a very tight-knit community out there. And so I went to school there. I played there. My daughter was playing there at the time. And the athletic director reached out to me, asked me if I can help out. I was one of the few referees that actually in our association, I did say, hey, I've been reached out with this opportunity, and my daughter's a player. I was given the green light at first, but as the strike prolonged, I was asked to remove myself from the duties I was helping at Moore Park High School, which I totally understand, and it put me in a spot where I didn't want to be, because I technically asked for permission and I was granted permission to move forward. I believe there was a little miscommunication, possibly, is from what I got. I did get a little bit of backlash from a couple of colleagues and everything, but when I reminded them that, hey, I spoke up and said, hey, this is where I stand. Like, they're asking me for help. This is my daughter's team asking me for help. How am I going to turn down my daughter and not allow her and her colleagues to play? Everything worked out for the best. I think both parties understood that they need each other, and it wasn't the same. We have some great referees on that high school association. We have a lot of referees who are still, growing and love the game. So I think the best part out of this is both parties now understand that they need each other, and moving forward, they're going to work together. So I was kind of stuck in the middle. So I helped out for the first half, and then second half, I sat out.
So the dispute was resolved. Was that in the middle of the season, at the end of the season? Was the whole season? I don't remember what happened.
So I don't think it's resolved yet.
Oh, okay. Well, the games are still being played.
This year this year or last year, I forgot when it was. It had to be this year. I can't remember when the strike was. But yes, we're all back refereeing, which is great, and I love seeing my friends and everything, because a lot of people forget, as a referee, yes, you're the referee of the game, but your colleagues, that's your team. We wear a jersey too, man. It might be yellow, green, blue, or red. But we wear a jersey too, and that's my team, and we work together as a team. So it was great to see everyone out there. I understand, for a lot of people, this is extra income and everything. For me, it just keeps me active, keeps me moving, and keeps me back in the game. And man, some of these high school games here in Ventura County are phenomenal to watch. Sometimes I forget that I'm reffing and I'm watching as a fan, but it's amazing to see how much the sport has grown here in our community, and I love it. I love it.
What would you say is the best high school team around?
Moore Park, without a doubt. Actually, this year, the Moore Park boys soccer team was phenomenal. They have a great program. What Coach Manny has done out there, and what Coach Mikey has done when the girls program is great. But I think what makes high school soccer the best is you really don't know. Every year you have teams from all over. Like Dos Pueblos had a great team this year. Channel Islands, I believe, won the CIF. I actually got to ref their scrimmage game, preseason game. And when I saw those guys play, I was like, wow, I can't believe that when I was 17, 18, I was this fast. So every year you're up. Every year it's a flip of the coin. Royal has had some great programs. Oaks Christian had a great women's team. I know I'm probably leaving some schools out. Thousand Oaks made a deep run. But you can never count out anybody, because I'm a firm believer that you don't need 11 stars. You need 11 kids, boys or girls, that are going to play together as a team and play for the school. So any school in this region can come out from the shadows and make a deep run in the playoffs. So all the schools here are phenomenal, in my opinion.
Yeah, and there's something special about playing for your high school. It's different than club.
Yes, but I feel that we're getting away from that a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of clubs don't allow you to play, or you're in an academy, which I'm all for it. But you're right. The moment you throw on that uniform and you're representing your hometown, it's a different feeling.
Yeah, it's special. So you referee, for various reasons. What have you learned as a referee over the last, 10 years or so? You said 8 to 10 years?
Yeah, or more.
More?
I don't even know. The number one thing that I've learned is we really have to respect the referees. It is a job that not many want to do, as you mentioned earlier, and we're losing a lot of really good, young, talented referees because we feel like we know the rules. And as much as we know the rules, it's all on perspective of the play and what's going on. I've tried to explain this to people that, sometimes you're screened by a player, and that player's tugging on that uniform. You can't see it, but the fan over there can see it because he has the best angle. You really just have to take a step back and understand that they're doing their best job. They're doing their due diligence. They're running at that angle. They're looking at their AR. They're trying to do everything. What really helps as a player is you're also thinking one step forward. You see that guy trailing, the defender trailing the forward, that there might be a late tackle from the back or something, and you're trying to see that, but you don't want it to happen. So for me, it's to really respect them, respect the young referees, respect everybody out there. We're all trying to do our best, and sometimes it is hard, and we don't get the right call, but we are trying 110% to get the right call.
Yeah, refs have a tough job. What about like a preference for center ref versus AR?
Oh gosh, I'll take AR.
Yeah.
It depends. I have a lot of muscle on me. No. I don't have the conditioning right now to run up and down. I can sprint. Don't let my size fool you. I can keep up with a little bit of the short sprints and everything. And I like having that perspective of the field this way. I love calling the offsides. I feel like I do a really good job on there. The one thing that I like about the AR is that when you're complemented with a really good CR, center ref, they guide you. I've learned so much from colleagues that I've reffed in high school and everything. We have Ian and Frank Anderson, the twins who do MLS and FIFA, and they give us great advice. One that I can remember the best is I have a buddy, Sal, who is I think he just got introduced into the FIFA program. He puts a lot of stuff on his Facebook. I would have to double check. But I was holding the flag, and the flag would kind of tilt out, and he taught me, point your finger and put it alongside the flag, and that's going to give you a much better hold. On top of that, after you hold and you acknowledge, look left and right screen. Help me, and I'll help you. And that's where it goes back to being a team. So I learned so much. So when you get complimented with a really good CR, it makes you a better AR. I'm okay in the center. I could do the centers, but man, some of these boys, you got to see them.
Yeah.
Man, they're fast.
Yeah, it's you got to be in shape.
Yeah.
To keep up with them.
Yeah, man, we have some referees, gosh, in the high school that are like 60, 70, and they're doing the centers and they're keeping up, and they're doing their best. So it's a special position, man. It's like the center mid, not anyone can do it.
Oh, I love playing center mid. It's so much fun. It's where all the action is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you are also a coach.
Yes.
Before I ask you all about that, what would you say you prefer right now? Refereeing or coaching?
I actually started coaching before I started reffing. Same thing with the AYSO. I was my brother's assistant coach. I have a younger brother, and then moved up when I turned about 16, 17. Back then, we were allowed to coach with a parent. They were the head coach, but we did everything. And I got the opportunity to coach my younger brother, and we did a lot. I love coaching. I was never the best player on the team. I was never the star. I did a lot of great things, but I think my mistake early was I let my ego get to me where I would do great things and I was like, okay, I'm done. And it wasn't until further in life that I matured and it started clicking. I was like, that's what the coach was saying. I need to overlap here instead of interlap there. And it started clicking. And when it clicked, my game went from here to here. I started playing adult leagues. I started playing in the semi-pro Gran Liga, and I could understand the game. And then I transitioned into goalkeeper. I actually played center mid in high school. A lot of people forget that because now they know me. My reputation around here is all Gilbert, the goalkeeper. And I started playing goalkeeper. And when you have that perspective from the back, and you're the commander and you're pushing up that D, or you're telling somebody, or you're yelling at somebody to come down, it really changed. So I learned the game from there, and bringing it in and coaching, it really helped out a lot. So I prefer the coaching.
Yeah. I think I had a similar experience after I graduated college. I went back to coach my high school, and I was the JV boys coach for a couple of seasons, and it really clicked for me.
Yes.
Yeah. So I know what you're talking about. You coach club now, AYSO United.
Yes.
What's the difference between coaching club and coaching regular AYSO? I know what the difference is, but what does it feel like? What's the environment like?
I have to say, so when you coach AYSO, I coached my daughter and I coached my son, both in AYSO. And coaching AYSO, when you're there, you're more of a dad. You're more of a dad, I think. Because I don't lose, focus on what the AYSO program is for everyone to play. It's recreational. It's to get the kids introduced to the beautiful game. And I think every AYSO around here does that. When you make the jump, and a lot of us forget, when you make the jump to club, you throw that competitive nature into it. That's why it says competitive soccer. Now it's serious. Now it's time for you to learn, teach your kids, hey, there's going to be structure. You're going to go to practice. You're going to meet these expectations. You're going to hit these goals and objectives at practice, and you're going to implement it in the game. And I think that's the biggest jump. You're having fun. And I understand parents always gauge a season on wins and losses and don't see the progression of it sometimes. But when you make the jump to club, now it's when you're taking it more serious. You're throwing that competitive element and you move forward. I will tell you one thing. Yes, our club team carries the AYSO name on it, but our new director has really changed that. We are no longer, taking, everybody onto club teams or anything. We actually had a little bit of, we had to break our teams into a Flight 1, Flight 2 team. And Flight 2, Flight 3 team. And now we're seeing the competitive nature of it. And kids are realizing, hey, we're all growing and we're all getting better. And that's what club is about.
Who's the new director?
Oh, gosh, why am I blanking? He's going to kill me. He's a big Liverpool fan, so I didn't get that wrong. Oh, why am I blanking out?
What? So his, directive to the coaches and to the club was, look, we're going to do things differently. And
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's getting direction from our SoCal hub that we need to move in a different direction. We need to emulate what everyone else is doing. And the only way we can do that is we draw a hard line on, this is how practices are going to be. This is how our game structure is going to be. It no longer having, two teams where, both age groups, and it's like, oh, I want to play with coach so-and-so because they're my neighbor, and I want to play over here because my kids go to school with these kids. No, we got to break it out to the caliber of play for each team. Yeah.
You think that's an improvement so far?
Yes. Yeah. I've seen an improvement. Don't get me wrong. Right now for our age group, I think every player there that's playing for our program is a club caliber player. If they were to go in the core AYSO or any recreational league, there'd be a huge discrepancy in play. And I'm so glad that soccer is growing, that we have this next level for everybody. So I see it already in our both of our teams.
What about where do you guys train as like AYSO United? Is it at the Camarillo Fields?
So that's where the Channel Islands chapter practices. We are under the Conejo United. So we are over at Rancho Conejo Fields, off of the 23, I believe, off of Jan's, the big soccer complex in Thousand Oaks. That's where we practice.
Okay. Yeah, they have a lot of tournaments there.
Yes.
Big like fall
Oaks
tournament.
FC. Their Oaks FC has their tournaments there. A lot of Thousand Oaks teams in that area have their tournament there. Yeah, it's a big soccer complex.
Yeah. And you're coaching your son.
Yes.
What age group is it again?
So they're 2012 boys.
Oh, 2012.
Yeah, so he's 13. Okay. The boys are turning 13. We only have one 2013 player on the team, and he is the smartest kid on the team.
So are you guys training right now? Or are you taking a break?
We actually took a break. This is the first year that my team has actually taken a break. And before we didn't, because we were all gung-ho, but now seeing players grow and develop, it's nice for them to take a step back and relax and enjoy summer. We sometimes forget, we lose focus that they're kids, but as soon as we get back, it's time to work. Conditioning first. We have the Eagles tournament coming up at the end of July, and then we are partaking in the Oaks tournament, in August.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to get everybody back.
Oh, yeah.
Start training again.
It's amazing that I've been around the core of these kids for about 4 to 5 years now.
Yeah? You've been their coach for that long?
I was, for example, my son has a player on the team, Tyson. They've been playing together since I think they were 5 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, and I grew up playing baseball with his dad. So it's great.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to have those connections and make, friends, make family out of those friends.
Oh, yes. We are one giant family. Wow.
Do you have a good team manager?
So my team manager right now is moving to the other team. I think we'll be looking for one this year, but Wes was amazing. And to watch him be out there and cheer his son, it is amazing. Emmett's grown tremendously too. So, we have a tie with all the families and everything, and it's great. I think one thing that really sets teams apart is if you're able to do extra things. So we've done dinners, we've done lunches, we've done pool parties, and it's great. So the family is very important.
Yeah, having those. We've had parties with my team before, and they really make a difference.
Yes, they do.
I was just remembering, you said 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Is Lonnie the other 2012 coach?
Lonnie Sizemore, Coach Sizemore. Yeah. Yes, he is the other 2012 Channel Island boys team, but I've heard that they've actually moved over to Rangers.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a new team, Ventura
That's
Rangers?
that's a new club team out in the Thousand Oaks, Camarillo region area. Yeah. So many clubs, I know, man. It's hard to keep up.
I know. Yeah, I had Lonnie on here before.
Oh, yeah.
A couple years ago, actually. I should have him back on.
Yes. He's a great coach. Great coach. Going back to the high school thing, I too, when I graduated high school, I was going to Moore Park College, and my old soccer coach invited me to coach JV, and I got to assistant coach varsity at Moore Park High School. And then coming back and reffing, I've actually ref Coach Sizemore when he was the coach at Camarillo.
Yeah, he was there for a long time, I think.
Yes. And then I even know Coach Duran before him. I think he's back in the program. His wife was my favorite teacher. Yeah, back in 5th grade. And she still remembered me. I was roughing a game with her kids playing years ago, my first year in high school. And she came down and she had to say, he's like, Gilberto, is that you? And I said, yes, Miss Wack. Well, she's Miss Duran now. And gave her a big hug. And so, man, soccer is amazing. Like I told you in my little brief bio, I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for soccer in this great community in Ventura County. Yeah.
What are some things you love about this county in particular? Are you from the 805?
Yeah. I'm from the 805. I think the best thing about this county is that everybody embraces everybody. You know, growing up and playing baseball and playing soccer in this community, you are introduced to an eclectic group of people from all regions in the world. And it's great to see everyone come together on a Saturday morning on the pitch and going out there and playing. And it's the game that's played in over 90% of the world. Yeah. So you're going to see all aspects of the world out here. You know, you come out here on any weekend and you'll see kids playing that have backgrounds and roots from different countries and everything. And it's the one sport that everyone can tie into and everything. So I think that is what makes Ventura County great. And in all levels, you'll see it in every sport, from football to basketball to baseball, lacrosse. Everyone here embraces everybody, and it's just great.
And there's a lot of talent here too.
A lot of talent. I'm honestly surprised we have not had more professional players come out of Ventura County. I think the moment we start getting more, it's going to be a huge dynamite explosion, and kids are just going to gravitate the sport and want to be the next whoever is coming up.
Yeah.
Well,
I think the new Santa Barbara team, the Sky, have you know about them?
No.
So there's a new professional team coming to Santa Barbara next season, I think.
Great.
Spring of 2026.
Wow.
They're playing in the USL Championship.
Okay.
And so I don't know if you know Rudy Ibarra.
No.
He coached. I was coaching with him last 2 seasons ago, I think. But I had him on the podcast, and he's like, "Yeah, I think we can get a lot of players from this community to, be able to make that team."
You know, I'm surprised because we have the Fusion, we have the Oaks team,
BC Oaks.
BC Oaks,
Yep.
And now the Sky. You know, that is great. I think that's great. But man, we have a lot of talent. I think the only thing that we're missing is the mentorship, the partnership. I think we've had a lot of players come out of here. Ochoa at LAFC, the goalkeeper from Oxnard, I ref his dad in one of the adult leagues, and he's actually come down and said hi. But I think giving back to the community, and I know these guys are busy and everything, and I know Ochoa does a lot for his Oxnard community, but coming down and maybe talking and mentoring some of the youth players and letting them know, hey, like these are a couple of the mistakes I made, and these are the things that work, really helps out, and anyone can be given like a paper of like, this is the instructions, this is what you got to do. But when you hear it from hands-on experience, I think it's different and people take it differently. I think kids could see, hey, this person came from the 805. I can be the next person to do so too.
That's an interesting point that we need more mentorship for the youth. I don't think anyone said that yet on the podcast.
I feel that I've played with some incredible players. I've played against incredible players, but I haven't seen that yet. I don't think I've seen that yet. I see it at some levels, but I think we need to have it more. You see it with the NFL players. A lot of these Hall of Fame players, they come down and they talk to these NFL players that, hey, man, you're going to make money. You're going to have riches. There's going to be women waiting for you at every city, but don't do it. Get this in line. Get this in line. Do this. Hire this. Do this. And I think, we don't have that level yet here, but I think talking to kids and be like, hey, get your grades in line. Challenge yourself. Apply yourself a little bit more. Take, if you're in CP courses, you could take advanced placement, do that. Because the college is going to look at you a lot better if you have those credentials than just taking the general ed and not putting your foot forward and challenging yourself. They want to see that person that can juggle multiple things, because they know when you get challenged at that level at a college or university, you're going to excel. You're going to do great. So I think kids need to see that and everything. I try to talk to my kids about that and everything. My daughter, like I said, she played. She's great at school, but I think if they were to hear from someone else, they'd take a different perspective on it.
Just writing that down. Mentorship. I mean, that's part of what this podcast is about. It's really, I don't like to describe it as solely a podcast, because to me, it's a program. It's a community. It's like, supporting the athletes in the 805 in multiple ways, like you said, like mentorship. What would you do, to be a mentor that way? How would you plan it out? How would you organize it?
How would I organize it? I think the best way to organize it is to create a high school like all-star game. Take the East versus West like they do with the football. And then after the game, regardless of what the score is, high five each other, sit down, and then bring the best talent that's from the 805 or people that we have. I know Kobe Jones is from the Westlake area, which is borderline, but have them and talk to the kids and be like, hey, when I was in your shoes, this is what I did, X, Y, and Z. When I was in your shoes, this is the stuff that really helped me out. And I think kids will gravitate to that. I don't think we have an all-star soccer game. We have it for football, but soccer is the biggest sport that we play here. So I don't know why we don't have it. Financially, probably that's why. Football does support a lot of the high school games. Athletic programs. But maybe finding a sponsorship, maybe having that Oaks team, come out, even them, and highlighting an all-star game before one of their matches and having them talk, that's the first step. I think that'd be great. And I know for a fact, I think Mark, the owner of the team, would want to give back to the community and do something like that.
Well, he's probably doing it with his club, the VC Oaks Club.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great point. Those guys on the VCFC team, they could really give some guidance to the players, especially the top players that want to continue their career.
Yeah. Weren't a couple of them like on the roster for the Galaxy team 2 seasons ago when they won?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I think the goalkeeper was. I don't know his name, but yeah.
I know. I think they do a pretty good job of like promoting their talent. Like if their starter on the VCFC is doing really well, they'll give him a chance at the Galaxy first team. So I think they're into it.
Yeah.
I think they scout also local talent to try to get them, on the path.
Yeah. I've seen that. So it's a great outlet. Like we touched on it earlier. Great outlets are out there, but I think having kids sit down in that forum and hear it firsthand would really change them.
Yeah, we just have to do it right. We just have to.
My wife's gonna kill me if I volunteer for something else.
we just have to start it. Yeah. That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Getting people to commit to starting it, and you just grow through it. Get better every year or every season. I'm totally down for that. That's what I want to do. That's part of what I want to
I
do.
think it'd be great. I think it'd be great. I think it would grow tremendously. I think it would push kids. It would drive them to make that all-star game and to have the opportunity. And who knows, even if it is not talent, even if it's a big name soccer player to come in, I think would really change, this community and change everything.
Talking about growth, what other things do you think players need to develop in, or maybe coaches, or maybe U.S. soccer in general? What are some things we can improve on?
That's a tough question. I think as coaches and players, we need to change our mental state. I'm a firm believer that this game is 90% mental and 10% physical. And we forget that, and we put a lot of pressure on ourselves as coaches to win, and we put a lot of pressures on the players to do their best. But sometimes we need to take a step back, and we need to realize too that, hey, we're still amateur players, we're still humans, and a lot of us are going through a lot of stuff, and kids are going through a lot of stuff. And sometimes we forget that, and we push them to the brink that they break. Or as coaches, we drive ourselves on gauging wins and losses, when we should really take a step back and be like, hey, was little Johnny a better player at the end of the season? Yes. Then I did my job. Does little Johnny want to come back onto my team and play next season? Yes. And if we can change that mental state and let kids understand too, I think would really help out that. For the U.S.,
yeah, we got a ton of problems.
Yeah, no. Me and my uncle, we talk about it all the time. It's the same thing. I'm rocking the Mexico jersey for my roots, but I cheer for Team USA. My Christian Pulisic jersey didn't fit, so that's why I didn't bring it. Gosh, around the world, youth academies are growing and giving scholarships and giving the opportunity to kids to grow and everything. I don't see that in youth sports here in the United States. It's a $1 billion industry. Billion. Emphasize on the billion. Billions. And a lot of the time it's the money. The money is the issue. Do you have the money to send your kid to Tennessee to the EACNL showcase? Do you have the money for this? And some don't. So some of them shy to put their kids in the program. And don't get me wrong, that 1% that does make it through, they deserve it. They grow and they play. But I don't know what the answer is for that. It's hard. We can't emulate what Europe is doing and having academies and that are tied in with school and everything. It's hard. I don't think we'll ever see that with our child labor laws too. So it's hard. I think USA is doing a lot. USA is growing and it's great to see it. And we are competing at a great level. But until we start developing the youth players the right way, I don't see us growing at the lengths of like Germany, Italy, France.
Yeah, it's hard to get around the money because, you do have to pay for these things, but, the bigger clubs in Europe are subsidized.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's my perspective. It's hard. I've seen some great talent, not be able to be used the way it should be. But I do feel that a lot of talent that is out there and playing at those high levels do deserve play at those high levels, and they're doing their best and they're growing. And a lot of these programs do have feeder programs to help sponsorship. So we are moving in the right direction, but I feel like we're kind of taking little baby steps. So, but I love seeing the sport grow, man. Every program out here, regardless of what price tag it has, is amazing. I have yet to encounter a club or a program out here where I'm like, really? No. I think, yeah, it sounds silly, but it's true. A lot of the clubs out here, it just, it's hit or miss. Are you playing DPL? Are you playing ECNL? Are you playing Flight 1? Are you playing this? But all in all, kids are being challenged. They're playing great teams. They're playing hard teams. They're not, walking around and beating everybody. Everybody is challenging everybody, and everybody is growing. It might be little by little, and some are taking giant steps, but every kid is growing, and we really just have to focus on that. Are they growing? Are they developing? And are they still falling in love with the game? And at the end of the day, as a coach, that's what I try to do.
Yeah, that's important. I want to talk a little bit about the game is obviously growing. Do you think, we've got a chance at any success next year in the World Cup?
Oh, I hope so. Being the host, I hope so. You know, my buddy taught me this. The ball's round. It can roll that way and it can roll this way. And we've seen upsets and we've seen Cinderella stories. If the USA makes a deep run, that'd be great. That'd be phenomenal. Canada and Mexico, they're there too, So for them to make a deep run, it'd be great. You know how big soccer is here. I would love to see pubs. I would love to see restaurants just full. I actually just got a job with the city of Calabasas, and our director, I'm in the Parks and Rec department. Our director is on a committee or a coalition in the LA County where they're trying to bring in incentives to different communities for people to come out and do like watch parties or come out and do a little tournament, something, emulate some World Cup kind of thing. So I think it's great. And having that fan base, you saw how it was, I don't know, in 94?
I didn't see 94.
Okay.
I was 4 at 94.
I was in 4th grade, and watching that and seeing the final, Brazil and Italy in the Rose Bowl and everything, but still having your team locally there, and now it's grown to an even bigger level. I think what the men's team, all 3 nations, Canada, Mexico, and USA, having that support in their community, I can see them making a deep run.
Yeah.
Now, to win it, you never know.
What about, a bunch of players skipped in the Gold Cup? How do you feel about that? I know it's... I understand it both ways. They got a long season. They have to rest just like everybody. But at the same time, you want to be there with your team. And Messi's still playing. Ronaldo's still playing.
It's one of those questions that a lot of us won't understand. But because we are not pushed like they are.
We'll never be in that situation.
Yeah, not at our age anymore. I think, Pulisic, I know, is the big one that's getting backlash, but I support him 110%, man. What he has done at his level is amazing. I don't think we've seen another U.S. men player be quite like him. First we had Wijnaldum, then we got Donovan, and now we have Pulisic. Man, we have a blessing. So if the man needs a break, by all means, we should embrace that and let him take a break. It's 2025. We have people call out of work for mental health days, kind of thing. This guy has a job to do, and he plays at one of the biggest clubs in the world. So if he needs a break, go for it, man. Go shoot your golf and do whatever it is you're doing. But next year, you better deliver.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think about the commitment to leave the U.S. at 15. Not just leave your state, but leave the country and live abroad and train just for a chance. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure on the team captain.
And some people don't take that into consideration. Think about it. Since 15, this guy has been grinding probably at 2 a days, morning, evening, and still going to school and doing everything another 15-year-old is doing. And now he's just asking for a little break. Nothing wrong with that, my opinion. I know I'm probably going to get backlash for it, but it is what it is.
No, it's probably 50-50 split. I talked last time with Rudy about Donovan's comments, and he was pretty vocal about his opinion. I forget what it was. It was during a game he said it. I forget what game it was. Maybe Club World Cup or something. I
can't remember. Yeah. I saw it in an article, and I was reading a little bit of it. Yeah.
It was he was just announcing, and it just took over him. You could tell he just it just kind of came out oops. And now he just, he had to say it.
But it's different. We have different generations, millennials, Gen Zs, Gen Alpha, and Donovan's a millennial. This is what was embedded in us. You and I are very resourceful. We're we work hard, we know we got to grind. We have to produce, and this and that. he's from a different mindset, from a different era. It's different. It's okay. I'm a dad of 4. Trust me, I love my kids and everything. My wife takes the brunt of it. She's always with them 24/7 and everything. But she needs a break. I'm there. It might be just for 2 hours or something like that, because I'm not as good at being the nurturer as she is. But she needs that break. So if he needs the break, he needs the break. And I think it's different generations, and it's hard.
Yeah.
I'm a dad, so I have some Gen Zers or whatever. Valeria is my daughter, so trust me, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different generation, like you said. I wonder if, we'll just see.
Yeah.
Because as a coach, you don't want your best players missing. I wonder if there's any tension between them. Coach.
Do you think, honestly, he's going to miss the World Cup next year?
No. I don't think so. I just hope he doesn't get booed, when he comes out to play.
I wouldn't boo him.
Of course yeah. You're nice. Not everyone's nice. You going to try to get tickets to the World Cup?
Dude, man, I got 4 kids. We went over this. You think I can afford some?
That's right.
Maybe if I go down to Monterrey, Mexico, maybe, the dollar's a little bit more over there. If I can get tickets, I would love to take my son. To have that experience would be amazing. If I do encounter some money where I didn't have it, and I could take everybody in my family, that'd be great. I could care less what team I go watch. Just say you went to a World Cup game, it's amazing. I will visit some of the local pubs and stuff like that, and try to catch as many as I can. Or we're fortunate we have the phones.
Yeah.
Just don't tell my boss. I might pop one up there.
But he sounds like he's a soccer fan.
She is. I don't know if she's a soccer fan or not. I'm fairly new to the position, but they're trying to bring in some initiatives over there and some programming. She's doing great. I think when you bring the World Cup to your country, I think everybody becomes a fan.
Yeah.
Oh, I sure hope so.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was a fan at 2022.
Yeah.
Everybody watched that game.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be fun.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I just wish the final was here. It's like somewhere in the East. It's either New Jersey or Kansas City or something like that.
I forgot. Yeah.
I know. I think it's at MetLife.
MetLife. Yes, MetLife. I was just gonna say.
It's like
New York's
why
Giants.
Why New York?
It's the summer. I think because we had it in '94.
Well, we could have it again.
Yeah. Yeah. But where would we have it? SoFi?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there was a little backlash between the owners and the FIFA organizers on that one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's what happened?
That's what I think I read, but don't take my word. I'm not a professional. Yeah.
I wonder what it was.
Yeah.
There's the Galaxy don't play at SoFi and LAFC don't play at SoFi.
Nope.
So there's no soccer consistently at SoFi.
Friendlies.
Friendlies?
Yeah, just friendlies. Yeah. Friendlies are played there. I don't know what else. Yeah. Yeah, but it's a beautiful stadium. I've been there for music concerts. Yeah. I haven't been to any football. Oh, and actually, I think I went to a friendly game there, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I try to catch games as much as possible. I can't remember where I go sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah, I've never been to SoFi. It's nice.
Oh, yeah, it's nice. Nice. Real nice.
Better than a Dodger Stadium?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so, yeah. I haven't been to a Dodger game in a couple of years, but SoFi is nice.
You watch any other sports?
So growing up, my dad comes from a region in Mexico where baseball is literally that's the thing. So I grew up playing baseball first, and then I didn't get introduced to soccer till later. So I love watching baseball. I'll watch the Dodgers and I'll watch games. Growing up here in Southern California, you got to root for the Lakers too and everything. And this one you can edit out. I root for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Everyone roots for the Raiders.
Well, in the Oxnard area, Cowboys and everything. So I try to watch as much, but I made the commitment to coaching in club, and my son's got games, and it's Tuesday, Thursday practice. Now he's at the point where Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, if I'm not doing something, he wants to go to the park and get some training. My truck, I have a Silverado, and the bed of the truck is full of pugs,
Yeah.
soccer balls, cones. I got a Bonet 8x24 goal. I got a kickback. I got the one that even volleys it to you. I got every tool because I try to give him every tool and amenity that he needs in order to fall in love with the game. The one thing that I don't do is I don't push him. I don't say, hey, like, you're not doing anything, let's go. I do remind him, like, hey, instead of you playing Fortnite for the last 2-3 hours, wouldn't it have been nice if you went outside and juggle? And the next 2-3 days, it clicks. He'll go out there and juggle or do a little bit of foot control or just play out there with honing his skills. So I love that he does that. Now he's to the point where he actually gets on the bike and rides over to Arroyo Vista. We're just across the street. And he starts kicking the ball by himself. Like yesterday, he told me I was at work and he just went over there. And he's like, Dad, I was just shooting on the goal, trying to hit crossbar, trying to get my touch and everything. So I feel by not pushing him and allowing him to do it is really helping out.
What's the relationship like between, dad and coach? Because not everyone likes to do that.
No.
Some people choose not to do it.
No, I'm very lucky that I have Coach Ryan and Coach Mark. Ryan Bashore has been with me for the last 2-3 seasons, and he knows. He knows when to step in and intervene. He knows Junior's now like, oh no, Dad, you're being mean. And it shouldn't be that way. So he'll come in and be like, hey, it's Coach Gil. It's Coach Gil. You gotta, that's your coach. And he'll roll his eyes and he'll get it. It's hard. It's hard. And I understand why a lot of clubs implement like no dad coaching.
But yeah, some have rules like that.
Yeah, some have rules like that. But you can ask all my my parents. I don't treat Junior any differently than I do any other ones. It's like when you could probably vouch for this. You and I right here having a great conversation, but the moment you and I step into a field and I'm playing against you, no more Mr. Nice Guy. And that's how it is with the coaching. I'm nice dad at home or whatever, but when it's time to coach, it's that. And it's hard. For Junior, I grew up playing in my town. I grew up playing for my high school. I was varsity captain my senior year. I've set the bar. He's already surpassed me as a player at his age. And I tell him that. But he keeps trying to make me prouder than I am already. And as much as I tell him, he sometimes loses focus. So I do have to step in as a dad and pull him off and be like, relax. I just want you to have fun, man. It's called the beautiful game for a reason, man. I love seeing Ronaldinho play with the smile on his face, and that's what I want you to do. So there is a little bit of crossover, but it is hard when to implement and when not to. But 99% of the time is I try to tell him, I'm coach. I'm coach. I made the same mistake with my daughter, but with him, he's really understood it. And it's great that I have a great support assistant coaches, and I have great support from the parents too. And that's really helped him to excel in the game.
You have 2 assistant coaches?
Well, so we broke up the teams this year. So right now we're practicing together.
Okay.
So we actually have Coach Mark and I will be taking the Flight 2 team, and Coach Ryan will be taking the Flight 3. And then we also have one more coach that's helping out and everything. So, but the parents are great. I've yet to had any disputes of like playing time or anything like that. And trust me, if my son is not performing, I'm the first one to pull him off, sit him down, collect your thoughts, think about what you're doing. So yeah.
That's fun.
It is. It sounds very cliche and everything, but I'm very privileged to get to see my favorite player play every weekend when I coach. So yeah.
What do you love about coaching? For me, it's always been like the opportunity to teach, to be a mentor, to guide young men, to be a role model for them. Like what drives you to coach?
You hit it right on the head, the nail right on the head. We forget that we are not just coaching them in the game of soccer, we're coaching them in the game of life. And we're teaching young boys, young girls to be respectful individuals in this community. So I'm anybody that knows me and has seen me coach one of the kids, if my kid gets out of line or something, I make sure they turn around and they apologize to that ref, or they apologize to that player or something. If it's out of the boundaries of the game, if it's not played in the respectful way or done in the way that should be done properly, So I'm that person. So yeah, being that mentor, that's what I love the most about the game, is molding these kids to be respectful individuals in our community.
Where does that come from for you? Has that always been just your MO? Was that taught to you by a mentor, a coach, maybe?
I think I kind of alluded to it in the beginning. I was very privileged to have grown in the great community of Moore Park, and having all the volunteer coaches and all the coaches I had growing up, baseball and soccer, teach me that. Yes, it's great to win, but trust me, there was times that we lost, and the coaches that helped you persevere from there and told you, hey, what can we do better next season to grow? It really changed your mindset, man. And I wish I can go back and tell all my coaches thank you, because we sometimes don't. We're on a team for one season, and then we're on another one the next season. But what every coach did for me, and parents and families too, really helped me grow. So I think that's why I wanted to give back and become a coach later in life.
Because you had good role models and mentors.
I had great, man. I don't think I had a bad one. If anything, man, I was the jerk of the team sometimes. It got to the point where I was very arrogant, very cocky. I wish I could go back by varsity my senior year. Probably the best coach I've ever had, Aaron Linder. And I was just a jerk sometimes because my head was big, like I got the captain band before the season started and everything. And I look back and I regret on that. I wasn't the best player, but I had heart, man. I loved it. I went out there and I gave it 110%. But like going back, like I said, there was things that he taught me, and it wasn't until later that I matured a little bit more. I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I look back and I'm like, man, he taught me how to play the game the right way, and a lot of coaches before that, the basics and the fundamentals, very privileged to have all those coaches, Steve Lopez, Juan Barone in high school, some of the alumni to come back, Curtis and all them. I still bump into them, Brody and everything, and I see them. And, it's sad because out of my senior year, out of all the players, I think I'm one of two maybe that's still playing. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I fell in love with the game, man. I loved it. I always thought I was going to go pro being younger, even though I wasn't the best. But I think having that goal, and still shooting for it really motivated me to play and everything, man. Yeah. And plus it helped that I transitioned over to goalkeeper. I don't run as much.
A good goalie makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Really big difference. My team, we had player goalies the last 2 years.
Ouch.
Just every half we'd switch them out with somebody. And we did fine. We did well. But it's tough,
It's a position that not many parents want their kids to play, know?
Maybe that's it.
My son keeps wanting to play it, but I was strict. I taught him to play his first season or 2 seasons. He was a defender for me, out on the wings, left and right. Never really played central or the four or anything like that. And then the very next season, he's like, Dad, I lost a couple of phenomenal players, and he's like, Dad, I could play up top. And I was like, I don't know if you're ready. And man, he killed it. He killed it. Yeah, it also helped that we had a really good player, Aiden. Man, I think Junior scored like 18, 19 goals, and then Aiden scored like 23, 26. But Aiden had like 12 assists to Junior of those goals. So it was really cool. But now Junior's transitioning into the center mid position, and it's great. I love it. I'm seeing a little bit of me in there. I know I'm being a little biased, but he's really trying to hone that skill and learn it and everything. I think he's finally realizing that he's taking his defensive element and his attacking element and kind of molding it into his position and making it his own. If only I can get him to learn not to encroach too much to left and right, it'd be great. But he does have little spurts where he does overlaps and everything, and it's really good to watch. But we'll see. It's going to be a very interesting season.
Yeah. How's the team going to be gonna
I think
do?
I think we're gonna do great.
Yeah?
I think we're gonna do great. I think both teams at our club are gonna do great. I think the kids now have a pathway. So by implementing the two teams, now these players really want to be here, and these players know they gotta deliver. So I think we're gonna make a deep run this season.
That's exciting. And you'll play Cal South or SoCal?
So we're transitioning. So my team played Cal South last year, and half of our team played SoCal, but we're going SoCal. So, and I know the level of play there is a lot better. So I'm very interested to see what's going to be, and looking forward to it.
It seems like SoCal's getting bigger and Cal South's getting smaller.
It seems like that, but then every time that I bring this up because I grew up Cal South here in Ventura County, but every time I have this conversation, some people aren't happy when SoCal, and they're like, I'm going back to CSL. And then some people in CSL are like, oh, I'm going to try SoCal. And there's a lot of back and forth. I wish there was just like one giant league where, even if you had 6 different tiers, really challenge everybody and had it more structured, I think that'd be great. But I can't tell you. My son, because he's so versatile, he could play anywhere. He played in both last season. I saw a slight advantage in the SoCal, slight advantage of competition, but we'll see this season.
So the competition was better?
Better, I think, in my opinion. I think with Coast, some teams like to sandbag. Yeah.
It's like ridiculous.
I don't get it.
That's what drives me crazy about it.
And so your bracket, half of the teams are that caliber and the other half is not. Where in the SoCal, I would say about 70% of the teams are the caliber, and then you only had about 30 to 20%, depending on which one weren't there, were probably going to be regulated down or something like that. That's what I saw. There's still a little bit of discrepancy, but it just depends.
Yeah, there was too much discrepancy in Coast.
In Coast, are you guys going SoCal when you decide?
Well, we do the Coast in the fall and the Newbury Park League in the spring.
Same here.
And the Newbury Park League is always way better. And
Christelle does amazing job.
I know some of the Coast people, and I give them the feedback. Like, there's too much of a gap between the best teams that like shouldn't be in the bracket and the worst teams that shouldn't be in the bracket. It's
Yeah. It's hard. There's never going to be real good consistency. I think there's always going to be a little bit of discrepancy, but as long as you can have some challenging games, that'd be great.
The Newbury Park League seems to get it right. Christelle gets it right both seasons. It's been good.
I think she does her due diligence. She really talks to the coach, because even in the beginning, she wanted to put me up like in the Flight 1 this season, this spring, and I was like, Christelle, it's like a new team. Like, if we played last year, then I would be ready. And for us, it was great. There was one team that we outscored, I think, like 12-15 or something. But the other teams, yeah, you're right, we're up to par, gave us a challenge and everything. There is that Total Football Academy 2013 team. They were playing up. Man, they were phenomenal. They beat us like 3-1 or something like that. Yeah, but challenging games that helped shape my kids. Yeah, it was great.
And then the rule change, the age year. It's going
to change this upcoming year.
Yeah. So hopefully, I don't know. I don't know.
That's going to break a lot of teams up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I kind of preferred the birth year. It was just easier to say.
Right now, you and I both can say that. But come high school year, it's going to be a lot harder. It's for the kid that is, so for example, my team, I have 7th graders and 6th graders. When these kids are going to be in 9th grade, we shut down. We go dark. And if you have that 8th grader, is it fair for them? Not necessarily. So I see both ways. This is like if we were to talk about the heading rule,
Oh, yeah. It's been a long time since I had to deal with that. I remember that, though.
But as a dad,
every game the ref didn't know. Can you head? Can you not head? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. So it's like the heading rule. Yeah.
I forgot about that. That's been so long since I had to
As a player,
do
I hate it. As a dad, and a player that had concussions from it, I understand it.
I like the rule. I like the idea of it. To be like that was years ago for us.
But then you have like 10, 11-year-old kids that don't even know how to head, and the ball's coming up, and they're closing their eyes, and they're hitting it up here.
They turn their back.
And
we get scored on because they do that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the worst. Did you go play State Cup this year?
Yeah, we played State Cup.
How was that? SoCal State Cup or Coast?
No, we played Coast.
Okay.
We played Coast. Did my son partake in the SoCal? I can't remember. But we played Coast, and our first game, we played with 8 or 9 players.
Oh, no.
And we won.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we won. This is why, going back to your other question, what can we change? The mental state of these players. So we won. And we knew we were going to be short because of rain. I think it pushed us back. I had borrowed players move up. I had reached out to different hubs. The one good thing about playing for AYSO United is we have hubs everywhere. And so we were going to borrow players, but then it rained out. And so those players had the surf tournament or something, and we couldn't get players. So we had to play 8 or 9, and one of my kids was sick. So I think I played short like 8 or I can't remember exactly, but we won. And then the second game, we were just exhausted from that game. But the team we were going to play the next day had lost to the team that we beat 3-0, 4-0. And that's where my kids shut off. They went into autopilot. And I've yet to learn how to get them out of autopilot. They keep thinking, hey, we beat the other team. This team beat this team. They're gonna grant us the win. Yeah, and they can't. It goes back to the ball. It can roll that way and this way. And man, that team put a whooping on us, And I was happy because the kids had to learn the hard way. It was very unfortunate because that was the end of our team. Like I told you, we kind of broke up, and now we have 2 teams. And it was unfortunate for it to go out that way. I would have liked to win a couple more. But yeah, it was hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting. The perspective of a coach is so much different than a perspective of a player.
Yeah.
I always tell my players, like, don't be afraid to lose. Like, you have to take risks in these games to get better. And you might make a mistake, and it might lead to a goal. But, like, don't worry about the consequences. Just try to learn as much as possible.
That's great advice.
Yeah. Sometimes I remember this is gonna sound like a dumb idea, but it was the last game of our season, and it was a couple years ago. Last game of the season, and I was pretty sure we were gonna win. The other team wasn't that strong, so I just told them, like, guys, try to lose today, and it just like woke them up. You could tell that all their eyes like, what did coach just say? And I got their attention, and they totally bought in, and we won comfortably. But you have to say crazy things sometimes to, like, wake them up,
I don't know if that one would work with my
I know.
team, but
I know. It was a risk, but it paid off.
Yeah, no, but no, they do incredible things, and I think it's clicking now. It's clicking that they have the skills and the abilities to do things and to beat teams and to play harder teams. So I think it's clicking. It's
a process.
Yeah, it's a process. It's hard. It's hard.
You have to be able to control the ball, and you have to be able to make decisions with it.
Yeah, and the right decisions.
The right decisions.
Or if you made a bad one, what can you tweak for next time? And that's the one hard element I have with my son. He'll do good things, and then when he makes a mistake, I try to explain to him, and he shrugs me off, and that's when someone else has to intervene or
you
something.
You guys film your games yet?
Yeah.
How's that been going?
That's great. We use the VO system. I know there's so many different things, but it's great because I'm able to download all the highlights. I'm able to have that. I'm able to go back and sit down and tell my son, look, this is where you kind of made a mistake. I would have pulled back and the ball came from the left. Let's switch it over to the right, kind of thing. So it's great, but you can really see which kids take it seriously and go home. I do it as homework. Make sure you guys watch the game and learn, Or even like I bring up that TFA team, go back and watch them. What did they do really good? What are 3 things they did really well? How can we do that? And communication was a big one during the spring season. So I love it. I wish we had that when we were kids, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my kids still don't believe me that I could play.
You got to get out of the goal. Show 'em how,
I
show
do.
'em how it's
I
done.
do. I do. Occasionally I do. Yeah. But they're like, oh, that was just luck.
That's just luck. That's funny. Yeah, film is so important. I wonder what like the ideal age is to start watching film, because you don't want too young.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 10 years old is too young in my opinion.
Well,
But,
we've had it since they were 10, I think.
oh yeah,
Yeah. Did we make them watch them that much? No, we probably make them watch a little bit. But I think it wasn't until last year where we actually sat them down and in a classroom setting and have them,
did you have
watch.
a classroom for it?
Coach Ryan, he's a principal at a private school, so he was able to get us some one of those interactive boards. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
It's a story of life right there. Yeah. No, film's important. And then watching good teams do it is important.
Yeah.
I remember, like, I was in high school and we were on a bus and we were watching these, like, highlights. Like, great goals, but then also great saves. And I remember, like, I played defense a bunch in high school and watching, like, the defenders, like, their effort to get back. And that always sort of stuck with me, like, oh, I just need to put more effort to getting back, and that'll really help, try to stop a goal. So, watching film, can't. No substitute for it.
I do the same thing. I'm a visual learner, so I love watching games. I remember watching games and watching the guys shoot from outside the 18 or get the volley real low. So I do the same thing. I remember I see the Barcelona flag, you're going to get mad. But when Junior was playing defense, I would be like, hey, go watch some Sergio Ramos film. Yeah.
Wild player. Yeah. But,
But efficient. Get the job done. Yeah. Get the job done. So I would ask him to do that. And still, to this day, Zidane, I'm like, watch what he did in the mid, Thierry Henry, watch how he finished, watch how these guys and try to implement to your game. So yeah, we're visual learners from the game, I agree.
Do you have a favorite player besides Sergio Ramos? Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho is one of my favorites too.
I can't probably say I have a favorite player, because I loved that era that we grew up in watching. Ronaldinho was phenomenal, man. Yeah. What he did at Barcelona to pass that torch on to Messi. Watching Messi play was great. I loved watching Eto'o. Obviously, my mom, being from the Zamoria, Michoacan area, I loved watching Rafa Marquez in the back, but I actually loved him more on the corner kicks, how he attacked and found the apex of that ball at the highest point and just was able to do that. I grew up watching Wijnaldum, and for a short time he lived in Moore Park, and I got to meet him and talk to him. Kobe Jones at Galaxy was great to watch. I actually loved the Jorge Campos uniforms, and so even before I started playing goalie, I would rock the Jorge Campos jerseys because they were big and baggy back in the day. That's what we wore, and it was great. So I can't pinpoint one player, this and that, but I loved watching Zidane at '98 World Cup, man, everything. So I'm very blessed that we've had these stars and everything. I'm not a huge Cristiano Ronaldo fan, but even watching him play, man, when he was at Manchester United, Chicharito too, I just don't have a player that I could say he's my favorite player. I think everybody that's been able to put a smile on my face is my favorite player. So yeah, it's been great. I love it. I love Oliver Kahn in goal as German.
Oh yeah.
That actually, yeah. When I transitioned to goal and watching him, I was like, I want to be like him, but I'm too much of a nice guy.
Yeah, he took command.
Oh yes, he did.
Yeah. I feel like I've learned to appreciate Ronaldo as I've gotten older for some reason. Like his work ethic and his commitment to staying in shape, at 40 years old and doing all the extra things, continuing to play in the summer when he didn't have to.
Dude, what he just did with Portugal, I agree. Amazing.
I watched that game live. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah. I was on my lunch break watching it, yeah.
Yeah, so. All right, anything else you want to share? I think we've gone over a bunch of different things.
Anything else I want to share? No, thank you for having me, man. This has been really cool. I really do appreciate what you're doing. If I can help in any way with the mentorship program,
Yeah, that's a really interesting idea. We got to do it. We got to figure out a way to do it.
So my neighbor Oscar Vargas, he is a real phenomenal soccer player. He went over to Birmingham High School and he was LA City Player of the Year like 2-3 years ago, and he's trying to get on this VCFC team. That's how I know Mark, the coach or the owner, sorry, of the team. And so if you need help trying to get, I could probably reach out to Oscar, get Mark's number or something like that. But I think that'd be a really good route.
Yeah. I had a guy named Jack. He works game day operations for VCFC. They actually got me this sweet soccer ball. They signed it.
Sweet.
All the players signed it and gave it to me.
Cool.
And I'm going to go to the game on Thursday.
Okay.
But yeah, it seems like they're doing good things over there.
They're doing really good things. I think every team around here is doing good things. So yeah, it's great to see it.
All right. Well, I've been speaking with Gilbert Lozano, man of many talents, referee, thankfully a referee, and a coach and a family man. So thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Patrick. Really appreciate it.